Cool, yeah, so thanks everyone for coming. I thought we'd do like just an event to sort of mark our second year in business, our first year here, and was going to aim to be the launch of our other warehouse, which is slightly delayed due to lawyers and rain as well. So we're getting that one in probably a couple of weeks, which is bolstering our expansion. So we seem to do quite a lot of things in July. I'm not sure why. But yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind. So yeah, just wanted to sort of bring a few people together, local businesses and people, and have a chat. I think we've got a few more people coming in about half an hour, I think, as well. And then just show you a bit about how it works. They're all being very well behaved today and very quiet. It's not usually that quiet. Hopefully they're still doing work. We'll find out. And yeah, just go from there. So I thought I'd just give you a bit of background about why I decided to start Rapid Pack, if I can remember, way back when. So I've owned online businesses for quite a number of years, I guess like 15 years. I used to do web design. It's funny actually, Antonio in the front here was one of my very first employees back in 2008, 2007, 2008. So it's come on a long way. So I did marketing and web design and things like that, and then own my own online businesses. And through that time, I guess I couldn't ever find a fulfillment center that would match what we needed as a retailer, as a brand. We could never find that fit. So it was always in the back of my mind. I went away and did some other things, worked for other people, founded some other different types of businesses, but was always wanting to get back to working in the logistics side, but also helping brands do what they want to do better. And then so we really focused on that as our Rapid Pack side. And our USP, I suppose, is about working with those brands on what it is they need and want, rather than just saying, oh, we're a fulfillment center. We're not just an Amazon or a similar, we'll stick your item in a box and ship it out as quick as we can. We're doing it so that each brand is as individual as it needs to be, that we can help them expand internationally, we can help them do B2B orders, but also it's all backed up by client support and people around them to help them get to the next level. And so far that's worked pretty well. So we've gone from no customers to over 60 clients now, and by the end of this year we should be at 100. But even then we're not trying to sort of overdo it, we're just trying to get the right clients for the right thing. And we're not for everyone as a fulfillment center. We want people who are like nice and respectful so that we can give them all our energy back. And I think what we do is bring it back. And we've gone from just myself and Raj, who can't make it today, who runs our warehouse, to 11 staff, and it's growing. We started off in Erdington in a small little dark thing. We moved here in, say, July last year. This is filling out quite nicely. Getting the other one over there so that we can expand again to keep up with our clients. So we're always trying to be one step ahead of where our clients need to be, so that they don't have to suddenly stop growing. That's what we definitely don't want. And then we'll expand this premises with another floor. And then early next year, we're looking at bringing in robotics and goods-to-person robots and things, which is to improve the speed of picking in particular. So again, our team can work on the packing and the flourishes and just making everything really nice, rather than having to walk up and down the warehouse and doing miles and miles every day. So apart from the fact they might put on a bit of weight, they should find it more involved and enriching, and we're then training them up on other things in terms of like looking after the robots and the engineering side. And we're bringing out quite a lot of IT and technical work, again, all about bringing in things that our clients might want and need for future, helping them grow, finding them ways to look for opportunities, make sure their pricing's correct, improve the time it takes for suppliers to get their orders to them, loads and loads of things so that they can all just grow in confidence, basically. And that's pretty much where we are now. Quite a thing. We're also going for an investment round now, which is hopefully going to close in the next 3 to 4 weeks, which will allow us to get to our next level, and then another one after that. And we were awarded I don't even know when it was now, 2 weeks ago, best young business. that's the business is young, not the owner.
No.
But so that was really nice from Express and Star a couple of weeks back. And then last year we were awarded Best E-commerce Fulfilment Specialists. And this week, though it's not been fully announced, we also got Best Fulfilment E-commerce Specialist again. So 2 years on the trot. So we'll have the 2023 version. We'll have another little trophy to go there. Oh, thanks. But that's all testament to like our team and how dedicated they are. And they really, really focus on the clients and getting them to where they need to get to. And it can be hard. It can feel like, pulling them through treacle sometimes. But we're trying to make them really retail ready, growth ready, so that when they get their big shot on TikTok or whatever, they go viral, or they get an amazing order from a retailer, which we're starting to see more and more of. People like Harrods, Selfridges, placing bigger and bigger orders for smaller stores, that we're there for them. And it's all down to the team and where they've got to. And I've also got a couple of really good mentors and things as well, including Richard, who I guess we'll talk to after. But yeah, so that's where we are. So it was just thanks everyone for coming, and just to mark the occasion. I really appreciate it. It's good to learn some, about different people's businesses. I'm on the NatWest Accelerator, which a few of the guys are as well. And that in particular, I guess, embodies what we do. It's all about the collaboration and the talking with, the local businesses and where we can all utilize each other's services. Hi, you right? Don't worry, I won't make big thing out of it. And it's exactly the same. So the way we work with our clients is we try and collaborate with them and find partners for them. And many of the partners are hopefully in the room today, and we can give a bit of business to you guys as well. So that's it from me. So we're going to do a little Q&A, the few things, but I think in particular on how to stay motivated as a business owner, which I'll be definitely interested to know.
Cool.
Yeah. So if you've got any immediate top tips, that'd be great.
Okay.
Because I've got a pen,
great,
and piece of paper.
Down. Cool.
So Richard is an established business mentor, working with quite a few brands and businesses now. Mm-hmm. A lot of experience in hospitality. He had a business with 800 odd staff.
Yeah.
Now does mentoring for the NatWest Accelerator. Another program I saw went on LinkedIn the other day.
Yeah,
was it?
Birmingham Enterprise as well.
Yeah.
Various mentoring for business owners that need that help and support.
Yeah, and certainly for me in particular, Richard has been a very grounded and just useful advice. And I'm sure he gives the same to a lot of the other NatWest Accelerator people. So if you would want to, I guess, just talk maybe just a little bit about your journey and your background,
absolutely.
And then how we all stay motivated, because I'm ready.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, it's hard to stay motivated in business. Businesses can be fantastic, can't it? It can be up one moment, down the next moment, and it's always tricky to keep that level of motivation at the level you need if you're going to be successful. But let me just tell you a little bit about me to start with. So, my name's Richard Sargeant. I always open with this, and I must change it. I've been a business owner and entrepreneur for the last 25 years. That's a bit I've got to change. And I also now mentor and help business owners that are going through the things that I've already been through. So I started off my life as a business owner with an estate agency business, believe it or not. So I opened an estate agency business, grew that to sort of 6 or 7 estate agency offices around the Midlands, sold my share in that business after about 7 years, and then for some unknown reason decided I wanted to go into hospitality. So I opened up a restaurant in Brindley Place in Birmingham. Started the business, I know there's a few accountants here, so started the business with a credit card and a brother-in-law to help me fit the restaurant out. Didn't have much restaurant experience at the time, and then grew that business over the following 10 or 11 years to a restaurant business that had 29 restaurants throughout the UK, team of 850 people, so it was quite a big business. I also sold another business along the way, which was a smaller hospitality business. So I've been where lots of business owners are currently or are going. And to bring it back to the question about how do you stay motivated, well, it's difficult. I think it starts with yourself as a business owner. everything starts with the owner and where you want to get to and what you want to achieve yourself. And the motivation comes along by, celebrating your successes, acknowledging your failures. I've had failures along the way, some big ones, and it's okay to fail. It's not a weakness. It should be seen as a learning. And whatever you go through in business, you just have to remain positive and be resilient and just keep on track and try and achieve what it is you set out to achieve. And for different business owners, that's different things. Some business owners might want to just have more time with their family, work less hours. Some business owners want to take over the world and grow to a certain level. And all of those things are fine. So, when I mentor and help business owners, it's sitting down with them and understanding where they want to be and then working a plan to get there. And resilience and keeping positive plays a massive part in that. Got any more questions for me?
Sounds great.
Yeah.
But yeah, how do we get to the crux of it? Like, in particular, you talked about, the frustrations and maybe the failures and things. And certainly I've had that. And for me, that knocked me back like years and years.
Yeah.
And I think you could either have gone through that or failed, and that may have damaged you in a certain way, and you've got to rebuild that, or you are anxious about failing, which can be just as bad.
Yeah.
I know this isn't even just about failure or anything else, but just the general grind can really get people down. And I think in particular because of the economy and everything else. I mean, I don't think we ever came out of it in 2008. It's just been perpetual negative. How do we kind of overcome that? How do we focus on where we're trying to get to?
I think it's been, laser focused on what you as a business owner is trying to achieve. The noise around you with the economy, government, interest rates, all of that sort of stuff happens in life. It's called life, isn't it? And we never get a perfect situation where the economy's perfect, interest rates are really low, it's all really easy for business owners. If it was going to be an easy gig, everybody would be a business owner. But it is a difficult path that we tread. And it's all about staying focused and true to what your purpose is as an owner. So whatever your business is and wherever you want to get to, that needs to be your sort of guiding light. That needs to be where you channel your focus and energies. And, getting to the nub of it, it is hard. If you have a bad day, you lose a client, you mess up, something goes wrong. It's difficult, particularly if that builds up. But I think you've got to put on that thick skin as an owner and realise that those kind of things will happen. Those kind of setbacks are just par for the course. And it is difficult, and that's why you should build a network around you of either other business owners so that you can talk to them, share experiences, share challenges, or get some support in terms of mentorship or coaches or any of those kind of support systems that are out there, to make sure that as an owner you're not isolated and on your own. Because one of the biggest challenges for owners that are on their own is it can be quite lonely. It can be quite a difficult place to be as a business owner if things aren't always going well. So yeah, network, focus, and just accepting the fact that things will go wrong from time to time, and that's okay. No one is the perfect business owner. It's a journey, and you have to learn along the way. There's no sort of silver bullet for how to be the perfect business owner. From my experience.
Just out of interest, how many people are like self-employed or run their own business? So, just about everyone. All right, listen. So just talk about what Richard was saying about like the motivations and why you do what you do. I guess why you started, why you still do it. Just throwing it out there. What was the reason that any one of you decided to do it yourself? Because that is a bold choice, especially if you've been employed for quite a while. So I know you got one.
I had 12 months.
Okay, that's perfectly good. Yeah, I'll take that.
I had a bit of my son nearly died actually, and it was a massive wake-up call for me. And because I lost everything, I had nothing to lose, so I just built myself up from there because I wanted to do it for myself instead of someone else. So that was like quite a powerful flip round. So yeah.
not wanting to ever have to rely on someone again, I guess. Yeah.
Because I realised when my job just chucked me, basically, and I was the first in, last out, smashed up the target, you know, model employee. But then when I needed help, they wouldn't pay me, you know, I didn't get any paid leave, nothing. So I had to actually take my son to work with me one day because he was so ill and forced me in. And I just got to the point where I was like, why are you treating people like this? So I wanted to do differently.
Yeah.
And how's it working out so far?
Well, 9 years in now. Yeah, I would never go back. It is what I'm suited to, and I think it takes there's a certain person, isn't there, to be self-employed or not self-employed, and I am a self-employed person.
Yeah.
But it's taken a lot of time to figure it out, go on the courses, read the books, talk to the people. It's a journey for sure.
Yeah, and you're doing well. And you've got at least 2 businesses.
I've got 2 businesses.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm about to start a third.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So you keep them motivated.
I don't struggle with that. Yeah, I'm very driven, so I don't struggle with drive.
Yeah.
But the frustration, it's not fast enough for me.
Okay.
So I do struggle with frustration. I feel frustrated at the moment, that's where I'm at now. So if you ask me where I love it, it's great, but I am frustrated right now. Which I know will pass, but it's just, you hit that point and then you're like, okay, I need to learn more, so then you've got to do loads of inner work to get to the next step, and then you hit another ceiling, so then you're like, okay, now I need to learn more. So it's just that constant cycle.
Do you have any thoughts on
No, I
handling
think
some of the frustrations?
I think depending on how you are as a person, you know, that really resonates, doesn't it? You know, lots of people want to go at a million miles an hour to get to the next thing and achieve the next thing. And, you know, if you're anything like me, you've got a million and one things buzzing around your head all the time. And it's working out what things that are buzzing around your head are important or that can be good to follow up on, and then shutting out the other things that are just stupid ideas or silly ideas or whatever. But I think as an individual, you need to run at your own pace. For some people, going at a million miles an hour and wanting to get to the next thing is almost like an adrenaline hit. It's almost like, yeah, that's what's going to motivate me and keep me going. For other people, slow and steady wins the race. And there's nothing wrong with either sort of way of looking at things. You know, some people set themselves little targets to achieve along the way. Other people set themselves a big target. Some business owners actually don't set themselves targets, and they actually, well, that's not true. They'll start off with setting themselves a goal or a target, but then because business and life gets in the way, those targets and those dreams sort of fall by the wayside, and you can become just cyclical in what you're doing and not really pushing yourself forward or implementing what you should. So that's sort of another issue in terms of not having enough drive or enough purpose or enough time often to implement what you need to implement to get yourself to the next level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, who else is sort of brave enough to say why they started their business? Antonio?
I think it's actually psychologically, I can't do otherwise. It's like I suffocate working for, like it start affecting me. It's actually mentally if I work too long for a company.
Yeah.
So after 2 years, I'm out.
Is that why you left me? Sorry.
So it's like, I think it's just in me, like I actually can't do otherwise. After a while, it's like I will walk out on the job of the day where I feel like, okay, it's done. And without a plan of what's next. Yeah. Because it's literally, I think it's in me.
I think that's really important, you know. Within people, you're right, it's either in you or not. You know, you've either got that entrepreneurial sort of spirit and fire and drive burning within inside of you to want to get to a better place, to want to be able to provide for your loved ones, your family, or whatever it is you want to do. And if you've got that inside you, you can't put it out. You've just got to satisfy that entrepreneurial spirit, haven't you, in some way, shape or form. And then you see other people that say, yeah, I want my own business, I want to be a CEO, I want to do this, I want to do that. But they just haven't got what it actually takes, because it does take something special to do that. And it's those people that want to be business owners but don't know how to, or aren't particularly doing a good job of it, that should seek support, should seek a network, should learn, should self-develop, because that way you will actually then drive yourself to at least get somewhere along the path of business ownership.
How have you found it working with programs like the NatWest Accelerator and the Beck one and other ones? How have you found it as a mentor?
I mean, I love it because obviously having been on the journey myself, I totally get and understand where people are at. I totally get their frustrations. I totally get, what's going on in your head as an owner, the anxiety, not thinking you're good enough, imposter syndrome, the, worrying whether you're going to be able to pay your mortgage in some instances, worrying whether you can survive for the next month in some instances. I've been there myself, so I understand the challenges, not just of doing what you do, but actually the stuff that goes on in your head as an owner. And I find that if you can actually sort the stuff out that goes on in your head and help and support that, the rest does become a little bit easier. So I'll give you an example. I worked with a lady that was doing okay, not doing fantastically well, but she wanted to change tack and do something different with her business. And it was just a case of just talking to her and just opening up all the possibilities that were open to her and unpacking and unpicking what she'd done previously and then just, sort of redefining her pathway. And now she's on a different course. She's still got her own business. She's doing something different. She's loving it. And, she can see a way to grow and build that business. And that's just from conversation and just actually refocusing. And you have to do that sometimes in business. What you choose to do sometimes might not always work out. You have to refocus. You have to go on a different path sometimes to get to your end game and end result.
How do you think people handle maybe having to pivot their business? Because I think business owners can become very mindset stuck on a certain path, a certain journey. It's what maybe the original plan was to do this. How many, people do you see that may be stuck in that, and how do they see that maybe they need to pivot, a little bit or completely?
Yeah, I think you get two types of business owner. You get the ones that just can't see it until someone like me actually sits down with them and sort of says, why are you doing this? You're not getting to where you want to get to. It's just not working. And when they get that realization from an outsider, if you like, that sometimes sparks them into thinking differently. Or you get owners that are just open to, hungry for the information because they'll try anything to get to the success levels that they want to get to. So I think, you've got owners in two different camps. Depending on what kind of owner you have, then will determine the sort of process you take with them and getting them to where you want to get to. But often you see a light bulb go off in someone's head when you say, look, this just isn't working for you, is it? And it's not working because of X, Y, and Z. Or, how much money have you made last month? Well, I wasn't able to pay myself. Let's start to have a look at how we can pay you, and let's start to get you doing what you enjoy and falling back in love with what you're doing, because that often can happen with owners as well. They just get into the daily grind and just do what they do because they know no different or aren't shown another way. So, yeah.
Is anyone bold enough to say that they don't enjoy being a business owner, or they're finding it tough? Everyone's going to be totally happy now. That's good. I mean, if that's the truth, Antonio.
But actually, I think there was a point, at one point, when I think like fell out of love of what I was doing before, where I actually hit the point where I just literally didn't want to do it no more.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice at the moment that actually what was happening. It was just like, as I said, the motivation was gone. You just couldn't be asked. I didn't have the same drive. I wouldn't want to attend the meeting at you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was the whole fire was just gone at some point.
Yeah.
And at that particular moment, obviously, I needed some readjustment, but I actually noticed that there was a moment in time where I completely fell out of love with what we were doing. The business was doing well, but me personally, I just didn't like it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's massively important. When I had my estate agency business, the business was doing well, but I just didn't enjoy it anymore. And you've got to enjoy what you're doing. You've got to be passionate about what you do because, your colleagues, your team, your customers will see through it if you're not. And, you know, it's really easy to spot when you've got someone just going through the motions. So, you know, it's good to acknowledge that, but do something about it if you're feeling like that. And it doesn't happen overnight, does it? It sort of, like you say, little bits, you know, death by 1,000 cuts, little bits and pieces fall away. You don't want to turn up to a meeting, you get a bit late to an appointment, you sort of don't try as hard as you could, and it all sort of builds up, and you get to a point where you think, what is going on? And yeah.
My next question would be, how many people feel like they've hit their targets? You know, have you got to where you want to get to or not? So I guess hands up if you think you've basically hit the top. Anyone? No? So we're all on a learning curve. 50% of the way there on the target. That's good.
I just wanted to say that kind of when I started out, I hit the targets and gone through them when I first set it out. But no, that's not enough. And I want the next level and the next level, and I'm just moving from, I guess, being what you'd call a solopreneur to I've got part-time staff, and I know I'm going to need to hire more people to do that soon, and I'm really scared about that movement, because one of the things that I hated about when I did this as an employed job is I don't like managing people, and I don't want to get sucked back into it, but I also know that I'm going to have to employ people and start doing that again, and it really frightens me, but I can't keep being the only source of income for my business.
It's really interesting that, isn't it? Because I think that is a lot of people who don't like to be managed, as in we like to just do our own thing and do our stuff. I think quite a few don't also particularly enjoy managing other people. And it can become that suddenly you make this business, however big, a Goliath, whatever, and suddenly you've got all these people, and it was hard enough looking after yourself, getting yourself to that first level, second level, and then it becomes exponentially harder. How did you find that shift of going from maybe one restaurant and it's all working nicely to suddenly you've got managers on top of managers and board members, and how did you handle that shift?
Yeah, I think the positive thing about that is you can set your own agenda for your business, and you can decide how your business operates, and within that, how your new team members, employees, whatever you want to call them, will work within your business. So, you know, it doesn't have to be a scary thing. It could be flipped on its head, and it could be a really positive thing, because it will get you to the next level. It will get your business to where you want to get it to next. And you've got the opportunity to bring on people under your terms in your business and operate how you want them to. So that could be, you know, there could be fun things around that. You know, there could be lots of different ways that you could bring someone into your team and start to build a team in a really cool, fun way that makes people want to stay with you and work with you, because you've got the ability now to set that agenda. It's not like when you walk into a corporate business, everything's set, process is set, you've got to turn up at this time, you've got to go home at this time, you've got to do this, you've got to do the other, you've got to wear this. That can all be set by you now, so it could be really exciting and a breath of fresh air for some people coming into your business potentially. But when you grow a business, I think the advice that I would give to anybody that's on that journey is, you know, understand what your business stands for, understand what culture you want to create within your business, and live and breathe that every day as an owner, and people will come on the journey with you. But if you fake it, like some people, you know, they say this is what we do, this is how we operate, this is how we work, we treat everyone really well and respectfully, but they don't demonstrate that in their daily running of their business, and very often then people see through that. So I think you've just got to operate with integrity, you've got to be genuine and authentic, and you've got to let your team know what you stand for, why you do what you do, and ultimately what's in it for them, whether that's progression, whether it's cash, whatever it is. You just need to be honest and open with them about what they're getting into, and that way you're going to operate a business that stands more of a chance than if you keep closed about everything. Be open and honest with your team, and fingers crossed that will help with the building of culture, growing your team and growing your business.
Just a bit interesting other things. So you're doing your mentoring now. I know you've got potentially a couple other projects in the pipeline. What is your aim for the future? Would you ever want to go back to having 800 employees again? Or would you prefer 8? Or is it like 1? And what what would you maybe want to change in future, like for either personally or if you were employing a load of people again, would you do anything different?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, Ben. Thanks for putting me on the spot. I would never say never.
Yeah.
You know, it depends. Who knows what's going to happen in the future, and who knows what will happen with, you know, new businesses potentially. I think it's a case of you always learn from what you've done in the past. Well, you should do, and you should always take on board what worked well and what didn't work well. And I think for anybody that's sort of managing a team of hundreds of people, it's really, really difficult to touch their hearts and minds all of the time with what you're trying to achieve and the culture you're trying to build. And that was probably the biggest challenge I had at lots of points in time, was, you know, I knew what our business stood for, I knew what we wanted to try and achieve, etc., etc. But getting into the hearts and minds of every single employee is a real difficult gig. And yeah, I would try and do that differently this time round if I ever got to that point. Don't think I will. Don't think I want to. Maybe robots is the way forward. Yeah.
There is some less things to deal with.
Yeah.
How I guess, yeah. How did you think AI will shape, I guess, the world? Just putting the big question out there. But in particular on that kind of thing, because I guess everybody's all over the world now. I mean, people are coming back to the offices, but are still predominant. There's a lot of remote working.
Yeah.
AI is going to change everybody's jobs, and a lot more than people maybe thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, is there opportunities? Obviously there is opportunities, but you know, what opportunities? But how do you think that might shape people's motivation? Will people come closer or further apart again?
I think it depends on the individual's business. I think it depends on the individual's mindset. I think AI can definitely help enhance some businesses, 100%. I think there'll be lots of people that will be just steer clear of it. I saw something on the news the other day where the guy they were talking to is saying, no, I just steer clear of AI, I don't want to know. I think anyone that closes their mind to it completely is ultimately going to be missing a trick. It's definitely got massive advantages, but I'm no expert in AI, so can't really answer that question.
No, it's just
as honestly as you.
Interesting thing, isn't it? How many people have used like ChatGPT and all that kind of stuff? Oh well, that's pretty good. Anyone got anything to say about it? Like, is it interesting? Go on.
I myself, obviously, I look into AI quite a lot, especially we talk to e-commerce businesses, not just e-commerce businesses, but in general at the moment. One of our main points is actually about every business right now should be implementing AI strategy, specifically if it's small and medium sized, because it's like Google New. Basically, it's gonna give. I think every couple of years, there's new technology which comes out, which gives smaller businesses a chance to compete with bigger businesses on a smaller budget. We ourselves internally try to use different AI tools, because not to completely get rid of the burden, but to enhance the speed things can get done. Specifically, like tasks which are automated, the things that have to be done are tedious for a human. So it helps create. One thing we use AI for is to kind of like help create a better spirit, like within the team. Because if I don't have to do the tedious tasks, because I can use some AI in order to do it, it's great for me. But in other sense, it's like working together with the AI's system or software can enhance the speed we can complete stuff. So tasks which would take me maybe 3-4 hours to do can take me like an hour or 45 minutes. So which means if I have 8 team members, I can now compete with a company which is bigger and faster speed. So one of our big conversations with businesses is actually that businesses should be looking at exploring AI strategy within them, or how they can help them to improve processes, speed up their execution or efficiency, or maybe even discover new areas of operating. So this is like where our conversations are a lot.
I think just on that with the mindset, because what obviously does happen is we all say we don't want a 9 to 5, and we end up with a 7 till 12 every day kind of job, like, and we don't. Yeah. I was off early that day, and often you do it for less money than you would have done. I think things like AI are a really good opportunity to maybe bring some of that back. So especially when you can't afford to go out and get someone to do something, if you can reduce the number of hours you're spending on admin and accounts and other bits and pieces, just to reduce some of the paperwork, maybe you might enjoy it a little bit more.
100%.
Any more closing tips? Anything you want us to go away with?
I think, you know, as business owners, it's just realising that, you know, it's okay to get things wrong. It is a journey. It is always a learning curve, and you shouldn't ever close yourself off to learning, finding out new stuff. And, you know, the key thing for me is whatever business you're in, understand and know your customer, because that's massively important. If you don't truly know your customer, you're not really going to be able to speak to them. And it's all about implementation and execution. You know, implementation and execution, and that's probably the key thing.
Nice. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you doing the little talk and explaining a bit about the sort of the motivation side. And I guess just to sort of finish on it, part of the reason I thought I would do it, celebration of what we're doing and where we want to get to, and I appreciate your coming, is just say, I've certainly struggled as a business owner, feeling the loneliness, the anxiety, lack of direction. It can just feel really hard. And Richard and other people in the NatWest Accelerator and the Birmingham and Black Country Chamber and a million other things I'm involved in, they all really help with just keeping grounded. And I think I would say that the business has performed overall far better the last 6 to 12 months with the help of all the community and things, because you've got people to ask. You don't suddenly feel on your own. You can give back to other people, which is like so invaluable. So I thought it was just useful to give everybody a bit of a kick up the backside to keep going where we're going to get to. And that's, again, it comes back to how we portray it with our clients. We'll sometimes be a hard taskmaster of them. We want to see them get to where they want to get to. They tell us they want to be the big, you know, Gymshark or the whatever it might be. We want to help them get to that point. Sometimes that means supporting them on that journey, keeping their mindset, and helping them everything else. So yeah, thanks very much, Richard.
Pleasure.
I nearly forgot your name then. That was really, really bad. Yeah, thank you.